Welcome to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, a show needs an intro. This is that intro. I am Fisher, your host, featuring Chris McCarty. We had him here with the last Bolts win. That's why Steve's back this Thursday. Woo!
Yeah!
From the Bolt Brigade and also host of Ford. Wait, hold on. It's the Ford Thunder Alley. Let me turn the microphone on over there for you there.
Yes.
We good? Steve Afaris, welcome. Or how do you say your last name again?
Arfaris, you got it.
Arfaris. Now I want to get it right, and eventually
you get it right.
One
Spell
day.
it right. The whole bit. It's all good.
Request the right people next time. Yeah.
Arfaris. All right, welcome back in, and
Thank you for having me.
Also, welcome to our sponsor for the first 15 minutes of the show, Single Source Insurance. And if you're looking to, if you're sick and tired of those huge companies treating you like crap when you need them, call Single Source Insurance. Go to their website right now, see what they have to offer, whether it's your home, your car, boat, whatever. SingleSourceINS.com. My wife Lauren wants to know where the little.
Ooh.
Joey's in here, so there he is.
Okay. Man, all of us, I was like, oh, he's about to go down. You look like you're about to panic.
Yeah. Honey, I had to leave Roxy home. She didn't even come out of the bedroom today, except to eat. Her anxiety is getting worse and worse. She hates the car ride. She has a good time when she's here. She loves the other dogs here. But so I have to give her the day off. Joey, on the other hand, he's here. He's chilling on the couch, out of frame right now. Nah. But before he knows it, he'll be Steve's.
Be right there.
Yeah, he'll be Steve's therapy
I got
dog.
the thigh ready.
The thigh
right
ready to go.
So I kind of just throw this out, ladies and gentlemen. I made a bold prediction. Was it Monday you were here?
Tuesday.
Yeah. I said, you know what, we're bringing him on because he might be the key, the good luck charm to us winning. And we all know we won 4-2. That's why our boy in blue is back here.
That's a lot of pressure.
Well,
that's the same thing you did last time. So yeah,
there's nothing, Steve, there's nothing you can do about it. This is the laws of superstitious nature. You know, the Bolts were slipping and sliding, and all of a sudden you break routine, come in on the show, and they win. So you have to keep coming in until they win the champion, until they win the Stanley Cup.
I'll be back every day if that means we get a cup to raise over our heads. I mean, Cooper made the changes he needed to make, the little ones. That guy's so brilliant.
How can you tell that someone is brilliant? What is it that they're doing? I'm not hockey.
No, sure.
I like watching hockey. I just know, I never played it, so I don't know names.
So the really cool thing about John Cooper is John Cooper was a practicing lawyer. Like John Cooper comes from law.
That's cool.
So when you watch him talk in press conferences or even like little things I've seen him do on the ice, and again, I'm no expert myself comparatively to those guys, but his collection, and he's so pragmatic when he's speaking, and it's always this level-headed, and you can see like the gears turning of like, no, we're going to do it this way because this is how you do it to do things right. And it's not, he's emotional when the time is right, and everyone's emotional, we're all humans, but I just love watching how
methodical,
and that pragmatism of like, no, we're gonna stay the course. We know we have a good group of guys in that room, and that's how we're gonna do it.
That's how we were the number one seed for a reason.
Yeah,
because we know what we're doing, and it would be great for them to chase history. What's it been since 74, 75 since the team has been 0-2 and came back and win? It's been that long.
No.
Was that what it was?
No, that was a percentage since that season. I don't know why they started with the 74, 75 season. Okay. But the stat was once you reach the semifinals or division, those teams that went down 0-2 lost 95% of the time, lost the series. So those who were up 2-0
have done it then.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh no, I don't know how many teams have done it, but it's only a 95% chance that the Lightning will not come back. Or I think it was go on. To win the series, not the Stanley Cup, but the series. Yeah. So
let's hope that we change that.
But we were down 0-2 in 2003 to Washington. Came back and won the series.
And did you guys see
I love it.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the stories today about how, in a weird way, they have home ice disadvantage for Game 4, the Lightning?
Yeah, it's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Because usually, there are teams. You'll go through streaks during the year, whether it's baseball or hockey or basketball, where it's weird. Like all of a sudden, your on the road record is a lot better than your at home record.
Yep.
You see that,
but not in hockey. Well, I think maybe hockey's a little different. I feel like I don't know. Again, I didn't play it, but I know in basketball there is a thing like your crowd. Like it seems for basketball, the role players seem to do really well at home. and like your stars have to show up every single night. But I feel like maybe in hockey it's a little different.
Well, it's the big thing in hockey is, well, there's the home ice advantage, like for the Amalie when we were talking about things like the Tesla coils and that whole advantage of everything we've got with that. But the big thing in hockey is
the modern technology we use to electrocute the other team.
Right. It's the last change goes to the home team. So the away team has to put their 5 players on the ice, and then the ref goes like this to the home bench. It's kind of fun. It looks like he's serving like cake.
That's cool.
Serving cake.
And then they get to come out. The Lightning get to send their 5 players out, or whoever the home team is gets to send their players out. So there's a matchup advantage there of I get to see who they're putting out there. Well, I'm gonna throw these 5 guys out there. Cool. But Marty St. Louis, who played with the Lightning, he was talking one day about how he liked playing on the road sometimes because it was more. He felt like he got more playing time. He felt like, we don't get to respond, so we're just going to make this work. Yeah,
that's really
so
cool.
it's interesting. However, each team plays and each individual plays it.
iHeartRadio.
I don't even know
what the. I thought you were looking at me crazy. It's like,
well, the funny thing is that if you see, I've got it. Got the screen pulled up. It's right on the screen, but it's wrong. So
what is everyone at home seeing?
No. This is right.
Okay.
I think because it's a split feed, one that goes to TV and one that goes to our
text cords
software. Well, no, don't take it like that.
All right,
you know what I think it is? I think it's an input thing. If you
be.
want to tinker around, or did I? I know what I did. I pushed the iHeart button. So you see, there's an iHeart button there.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to tinker with it while I get maybe hit input and go through there and see if, okay, that's going to be it. Check one of the HDMI inputs.
Gotcha.
You check what the HDMI inputs and see if you can figure this out, and I will go ahead and get to on this day. All right. Well, actually, since we're on the subject of the Lightning real quickly, let's go ahead, because I want to get into the story to figure out how it is that the Capitals have a home ice disadvantage in the playoffs when you're up 2-1.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. In the divisional, what do you call them?
Well, right now, Eastern Conference Finals.
The Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah. So am I saying it wrong if I say playoffs?
No, it's the playoffs. It's just that this is the round of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I was mocking that whole the
Jim
coach.
Mora.
Playoffs.
You kidding me? I hope we win a game. Playoffs. Oh my God, that was gold.
I watched that live. Did you watch it live?
No.
I happened to watch that live. I watched that one, and they are who we thought they were.
I saw Denny Green live. Oh, that was so good. Oh my God.
Crowding their asses.
All right, so the good news for Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals, they still lead the Eastern Conference Final against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The bad news for the Capitals, counterintuitive as it may be, they host Game 4 as an underdog. So far, Washington 7-1 in away games this postseason, closing out each of its first 2 series on the road. Heading into Thursday night, the Capitals are only 3-4 in their own arena.
That's nuts.
That is nuts. The latest setback was a 4-2 loss to the Lightning on Tuesday after victories at Tampa Bay by a combined score of 10-4 in the finals. That doesn't seem like a team that can win a championship. Well, I feel like if you don't have a home game, then you're limited.
Yeah, and I hear John Cooper talk about like home ice really just comes down in a big way to Game 7, where it's like it's do or die, and you have the whole crowd behind you, and it's that momentum. But you got to wonder, like, why can't you close out at home? Maybe it's a comfort thing. Like, you're too comfortable. Like, you get to sleep in your own bed.
Or it's the same thing we were talking about last time. Remember, like, when your family's there, we just perform a little differently.
Yeah.
What it could be that? What if, because, it's just us here. And now everyone's calling, texting, hey, you got tickets for the game. You don't know what those guys see. It could be something like that, too.
When you're away, they're like, all right, listen, be back at the hotel by 10 o'clock. I want lights out, this. Where you're at home. Well, I don't know. I think when it comes this time of year, too, they'll pull the team away from their the average routines, right?
I think they're staying at they get to stay at their own homes.
They're not staying at home. Oh, they are staying at their own home.
Okay. As far as
See,
I know.
There's something to be said about the camaraderie of being together on the plane, on the airport, the hotels, eating together like a band. I mean, it's just like a band, the same kind of situation.
You're going into battle. You're not awaiting for the battle to come to you. Maybe that's it.
Could be it.
Great way to put that.
I like that.
Because you're staying focused. If you're on the plane, you're heading to somewhere. The whole team, like you said, you're in sync. You're staying focused. We're going to get to the hotel. We're going to eat this dinner. Yeah. If you're at home and and you're allowed to kind of go hang out with some family and friends and try to go through some,
or your girlfriend or whatever, maybe.
Right. Your wife, then your girlfriend.
Right. I mean, like, you don't know when those guys are probably getting away from home issues, and then they go away, and it's, who knows.
Good morning to Adam, Travis, Michael, Nikki, Robert, Tom, Ian, Brian, Deidre. How you doing, Dee? Deidre.
So you guys want to hear something kind of funny? This is so nerd of me, and I'm calling myself out. So when you said 2003, we were down 0-2 to the same Washington team.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just different. So for the Super Bowl, right? It was like, who do you think is going to win, the Eagles and New England? So watch this. So New England's first Super Bowl was in 1985, right? So 20 years later, 2005. In that 20-year span, on the 12th year, they lost to, I forget who they lost to, right? On that 12th year. Green Bay. So now, from 2005 to, but another 20-year span, right? Last year, when they played the Eagles, it was their 12th year in that 20-year span. And I predicted them to lose, and they lost as well. And that was me nerding out, just trying to find mathematical ways of things to be kind of like, and that just sparked my.
Ain't nothing mathematical about numerology.
Well, think about what you just said. He just said it was 2003, the same. We were down 0-2 to the same team, and if we win, it would be kind of interesting if it happened. All
right, so what are you predicting then? So what are you predicting then?
That we're going to win.
Okay. Good.
I'm feeling good about it.
I like it.
And between Chris's prognostication and Steve, our good luck charm being here, and Steven being here in the studio.
I mean, I was right. The Patriots didn't win. I don't know. It's kind of interesting how you do that.
All right.
I know. Too much time on my hand at that moment. Too much time.
We'll see. All right. So let's get to on this day in history to put today's events and yesterday's events into perspective and realizing no matter how much they scare the crap out of us, likely it'll just be a footnote in history one day. We do have a lot of them. Chris, there's a lot of good ones today. On this day in 1954, Brown versus Board of Education is decided.
That's huge.
Yes. In a major civil rights victory, the U.S. Supreme Court hands down a unanimous decision in Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, ruling that racial segregation in public educational facilities is unconstitutional. The historic decision, which brought an end to federal tolerance of racial segregation, specifically dealt with Linda Brown, a young African-American girl who had been denied admission to her local elementary school in Topeka, Kansas, because of the color of her skin. In 1896, the Supreme Court ruled that Plessy versus Ferguson, that separate but equal accommodations in railroad cars conform to the 14th Amendment's guarantee of equal protection. That ruling was used to justify segregation in all public facilities, including elementary schools. However, in the case of Linda Brown, the white school she attempted to attend was far superior to her black alternative and miles closer to her home. It goes on from there. All right, and that is just one of many things.
Thanks. So grateful for that because, I wouldn't be here, and the things that I've learned, and all.
You went to private school,
yeah, dude, and all the music that we have, and just everything coming together, man. It just feels Ebony and Ivory. It feels good to everyone come together, man. Yeah,
that's 1954.
Come on, Stevie.
1954.
Right.
We're not that far away.
My grandmother was 24.
Right.
My dad was 6.
My mom was 2.
My mom was 4.
3.
Oh, we got shut up.
Well, here's the thing, and the reason that I bring, another reason why I bring this kind of stuff up, I like to do on this day, is because of that epiphany right there. Wait. That shit was going down in 1950. That's not ancient history. Yeah. That doesn't go back to predate the Civil War. That's stuff where our parents were alive when this happened. Some of you were alive when this stuff was going down. And so, because a lot of times, especially, having conversations with white people, people that look like me, there's this frustration of, racism isn't what it is. They are always calling racism and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But you have to remember something, man, that's the mentality coming out of the Civil War. There's still plenty of it out there.
Yeah, dude.
All right. The Civil War, that's not ancient history. To put that in perspective a little bit, and I know that I brought this up before to use as an example, but there's still people being paid. There are still people being paid something on a monthly or yearly basis coming out of the Civil War because they're the granddaughter of somebody that da-da-da-da. So we still have people who are physically connected to that period. And, granted, she's, a 90 years old herself, and da-da-da. We're getting to the end where we're not going to have those physical connections, but the point has to do with we're not that far removed, and so there's still a lot of work to be done in this category.
So try to work on the compassion side. You were saying that they still. That's the moment where you hope that you go one step further and be like, well, they're still around. So let's just be like, it's still kind of happening. So let's be easy when you hear someone.
Isn't it crazy though how they like extrapolated it out? Like it went from railroad cars in that article. It was like railroad cars. Okay, well now we're just going to apply this to everything.
So they call the slippery slopes, and that's why you have to be careful with precedents because it'll be applied elsewhere. And speaking of black stuff, white stuff, Doug, white stuff wants says McCarty that's hair is looking good. He want to know if it's okay if I zoom in on it a little bit here. Why don't you take off those headphones and turn to the side a little bit? Right, you put some work into this morning. I came in and Chris McCarty was in the. Oh, look at that!
Wait. Oh, we're gonna go around. I've been running around.
Wait, hold on. Is that the hippie man bun? Is that the?
Yeah, dude.
You got what do they call it? Hipster?
Because it's really hot, man. And it's really good for when it's hot. And so yeah, it's nice, man. It makes me.
I don't know you were a hipster.
Come on now.
Hold on, let me see if my photos have updated real quickly because I want to pull up a picture of you, just in case, just if I have it from this morning.
Yeah, so you can give us a bird's eye view of how it goes down. Look at that.
All right, so I came in earlier and McCarty was down in the the dressing room area. Which what a great space that is. What a bright.
Oh, it's so great.
It is. I hate that I.
Look at Joey trying to get in. You see him?
Where's Joey? Oh, there he is in the background. There he is, sneaking in there.
He's so great. Yeah, so that's it. That's Virginia, a good friend. She and I actually went to the Justin Timberlake concert.
Oh yeah.
So we were really into music, and it was great to have somebody else like who gets it, and we're talking about the transitions and so on and so forth. So and I respect what she knows of music so much that I was sitting there and we were actually working on my set list for the Hard Rock gig and just kind of bouncing off ideas of what to do. And sometimes she's helps with the kids, and she's just all around great person of faith, and she's just great. So
awesome.
She came down and did the favor to make it work, so I can work on other things that are working in my life. Work.
Well, for the few seconds that I met her, she seemed like a lovely woman. Yeah. All right, back to on this day. On this day, Washington criticizes taxation without representation. 1769 on this day. A pivotal point in American history. On this day in 2005, Toyota announces plans for the hybrid Camry. That was 2005. There's a few things on here that I wanted to get to today. Televised Watergate hearings began on this day in 1973. Wow. First legal same-sex marriage performed on this day in 2004 in Massachusetts. On this day in 2000, final episode of Beverly Hills 90210 airs.
I watched it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I
didn't like it. It was like it was just at the time.
I wasn't really into the show.
That was what it was. Listen, I went to private school. All those kids watched it, so it was like, and that's kind of
Don't you call them those kids? You're one of those kids from my perspective.
Yeah, all those kids. I said I watched it. From the other side of the tracks. I watched it, so I went to private school. All those kids watched it. Yeah, I got you. Look at you trying to get me. You can get me, buddy. Good try, though.
On this day in 1983, the Islanders win their 4th consecutive Stanley Cup. That's amazing. But the one I wanted to click on, the FBI laboratory weighs in on the dirty lyrics of the song Louie Louie in 1965. We were just, was it yesterday, we were talking about Voltaire, which was another lawyer who dropped out for being a lawyer to go on and be great. We were talking about how he had to keep fleeing the country, because of stupid century. His satire was cracking on the government and religion, so they kept imprisoning him or running him out of countries. But fast forward, because that was 1717. Fast forward to 1965, and stupid human beings are still ignorant human beings. Based on an outcry from parents who bought into what may have started as an idle rumor, the FBI launched a formal investigation in 1964 into the supposedly pornographic lyric of the song Louie Louie. That investigation finally neared its conclusion on this day in 1965 when the FBI Laboratory declared the lyrics of Louie Louie to be officially unintelligible. Oh. I don't even. So can we read? Do you guys mind if we read a little bit more?
Because I remember, man. Keep going. It's got nothing but time.
I remember knowing there was a controversy surrounding this song, but I don't know that I ever knew exactly what it was. So here we go. No one will ever know who started the rumor that Louie Louie was dirty. As written by Richard Berry in 1955, the lyrics revolve around a sailor from the Caribbean lamenting to a bartender named Louie about missing his faraway love. As recorded in crummy conditions and in a single take by the Kingsmen in 1963. Is that even a thing anymore, Chris? Is such a thing as, hey, let's all plug in our instruments in the same room, one take, let's go, all right, next one?
Yes, the Red Hot Chili Peppers do it.
Oh, yeah?
That's why their songs are so live and you feel it. They still record live in a room, so you can tell the difference. Yeah, man.
Okay. So in 1963, lyrics like "A fine little girl, she wait for me" came out sounding like a perhaps it was some clever middle schooler who started the rumor by trying to convince a classmate that those lyrics contain some words that are as unprintable today as they were back in 1963. Whatever the case, the story spread like wildfire, and the United States. That just goes to show when you and I, Chris, talk about people have a tendency to project our own reality onto the stuff around us. This is a great example. When you have those things that aren't clear, right? Pictures that aren't clear. It might show this, it might show that. Songs where you can't, then you will hear what you want to hear.
Exactly, man. All the time. This is amazing. It's what we do, people.
Whatever the case, it spread like wildfire. The Department of Justice began receiving letters like the one addressed to Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy and dated January 30, 1964. Who do you turn to when your teenage daughter buys and brings home pornographic or obscene materials being sold in every city, village, and record shop in this nation? That letter began before going on to make the specific assertion that the lyrics of Louie Louie were so filthy that I cannot even enclose them in this letter.
I love that accent you did. That's your evil guy. I like that.
All right. I think that was pretty much it.
And I got a sports on this day. Hank Aaron became the 9th player to get 3,000 hits in 1970. And in 1998, New York Yankees pitcher David Wells becomes the 13th player in the modern Major League Baseball history to throw a perfect game.
We were just talking about that.
We were just talking about Wells yesterday.
Was that yesterday or the day before?
It was Dion.
When Dion,
okay. Yeah. How Wells was drunk apparently when you said I never heard that.
You guys were talking about excellence. Look, I'll look it up.
I was just doing the same thing.
You guys are talking about striving for excellence, and every single day it's about getting better and focusing on whatever that means.
Right.
And work ethic too. I think you guys were talking about work ethic and this and this and this and this, and you guys were throwing out examples of Michael Jordan's work ethic. You know, first person into the gym, last person out of the gym, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, attention to detail.
And I was like, yeah, well, David Wells threw a perfect game drunk.
I'm looking it up. I can't find it. You got to look it up, man. I can't find it.
David Wells, perfect. By the way, I've met him before. He was cool.
Half drunk. Whoa.
Perfect game.
And who was the guy for the Pirates? The guy from the Pirates who threw a no-hitter or perfect game, like tripping on LSD.
Oh, that goes back to the 70s, right?
Yeah.
I'll look that one up next.
Okay, all right.
15 years ago today, Wells' perfect game. Let's never forget that a drunk David Wells threw a perfect game.
That's just crazy, man. But it's not too far off because I had a buddy of mine who was in the league, in the NFL, and he was like, Chris, about 80% of us are high on the field.
No way. In football?
In football is what he told me.
I find that hard to believe.
Why would he lie to me? He didn't.
Well, I'm not saying that he's lying. I'm not saying he doesn't believe what he's saying. I personally find hard to believe.
David Wells, I'm sure musicians. I've been in another place when I was making music. I want to say like 90% of the music that everyone hears, somebody was high on something in the recording of that.
And somewhere in the process.
I've seen it, whether it's the studio, whether it's the I mean, whether it's the engineer,
Listen, getting
someone rolling a blunt, I've been in studios all my life. It seems like I just always kind of running into something.
Well, one of the things, so let's remove the term getting high and just talk about what they call psychotropic effect.
Buzzed?
If that's the right word, or buzzed, or what it does to your brain, basically.
Right.
And
There's an element to that, man. To be honest with you.
so one way to describe it, you kind of loosens your grip on what you think you should know, or maybe what the next logical step should be if you were writing something or creating something. So it gives you get this freedom to kind of venture out and tie in other things that ultimately make sense. But here's the funny thing about writing high. And now some people, I'm sure, have had good experiences. But for the most part, Chris, back me up or blow this up.
Let's go.
I'm sure you've written plenty of songs, loomed up. We'll call it loomed up, as we did back on radio.
Enhanced.
Enhanced. And how many times did you go back to those lyrics after you sobered up and went, oh, perfect, brilliant? Zero?
You know what's funny? I would say never. Only the songs that I haven't released. Those ones that, like, I'm just kind of just writing and I'm not in. Those you come back and like, but it's a feel thing for me. Everything's very feeling oriented. So I guess when you are enhanced, you're out of the, you're not really thinking, you're just feeling it out.
Just flowing.
Yeah, it's just a flow. I can say that obviously when I helped write that last one with Chase, there was nothing going on with it. So that's those moments of, like, convincing yourself. At one point I thought I had to almost be in some kind of state of mind, and now I'm at the place where I realize, like, it's me. Like and I really receive the message quicker when I'm not enhanced with anything. So, but there's pluses and minuses too. I mean, they just are. Like, they just are. I won't lie.
Cords was asking yesterday, since we're kind of on the conversation or the topic of process when it comes to creating, whether you're creating music or you're creating a marketing campaign for your own business or something. Cords, the guy that I partner with for the show here at Bake More Pies, he was asking me about that the other day. He goes, when you're in the middle, because we were talking about this content that we do outside the show, and it's like, well, how do you, what do you think? What's going through your head? Are you thinking about the next this, da 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 da? And I go, no, I'm not thinking about anything. It's more, I put myself in a place. I don't know. I do something before the interview begins, before the thing begins. I put myself in a place and then just go. Just do. And so when I left, I go, man, that can't be right. So I started to think about it a little bit. Here's actually what happens. Cords, when I find out I have to do something like that, I've got a week to prepare. Whether it's a wedding I have to DJ or it is one of these client things that we do, I start to stress the F out. And then I start to get fixated on that thing. And so what happens in my head is, from the time that you tell me or somebody tells me this thing has to be done, or I'll be doing this thing that scares the crap out of me, I can't stop thinking about that moment. So I play out scenario after scenario from every angle from that moment I find out until the time that it happens. But the moment that I'm in the, by the way, am I back? Does this make any sense to anybody?
Absolutely.
100%.
Okay. 1,000%. And we're both sitting there like, yeah, me too. Yeah, same thing.
Like lightning watch parties and things like that. I want to know where I'm going to get feedback from the mics, where the sun's going to be. Is it going to be in my face? Is it going to be behind me? Where can I walk without getting any type of feedback? How many people are going to be there? What's the setup? Yeah, I play all that stuff out every time.
Absolutely.
Another example I can remember, my gig, when I would go do these, or any gig really, a bar gig. On my way there, I'd be visualizing already being there, already on the microphone. I can hear myself in my head. I can see the crowd, and then it's more like a simulation. Like you're playing out these simulations in your head. So I think what happens for me, I can't. This is just me. Is I've almost lived that moment over and over and over and over again from all these different vantage points, that once it comes, I take a deep breath, get in and just go. And then then it's muscle memory at that point. Then it's kind of like you've in a weird way, you've used your mind to train for whatever it was you're getting ready to do.
I like it.
That's probably why you've been able to do it so long, is because you are preparing in some way as you're getting in to go for these things.
So
I mean, for me, one thing that my friends will tell you, I didn't speak things into existence. Like I was saying before I stopped smoking that I'm going to stop. And that's one thing that I was telling you, like everything that has happened so far in my life, I've said it before. I said, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. And it's happening all the way back from someone's going to see me on the beach, and then and that happened. And then it came from, us talking about this TV show and the reason why. And that, I can make it make sense. So you're like that.
So you're talking about you're talking about the secret to the secret, then visualizing.
Not even so. I mean, maybe, I guess that's what, I guess essentially that is what I'm saying. But I do feel like we all, maybe I'm a visual. You're
visualizing the future that you want.
I do. It's like I was saying the other day with you and I were talking about the show and where it's going to go. And you were like, well, I don't want to necessarily take that ride. I'm like, it's perfect. I'll do the visualizing and I'll just say it. And now you've heard it, I've heard it. And then you can kind of keep us keep things grounded, because I will go. And so far, everything's happening, man. Like, perfect example, the Justin Timberlake show. I was talking to Virginia. I think we were talking about that almost a month ago. She was at the house doing the hair. She just graduated. I'm a very giving individual, so I was like, it would be kind of cool if I could get you to that. And she was like, oh, we're just talking about it. But then some things were going on, thinking about moving. So it's like, I probably need to save the money to get the move. And so I was like, hey, it may not happen, right? But she, we talked about it. And then all of a sudden, what happens? The day of the show, tickets fall in my lap. We were just talking about it, and it made sense. We were talking. I mean, you can call it luck, call it life. I just think there really is something about the power of the tongue. I just believe it. So remember the other week you were like, I said, yeah, when I'm worldwide known or way more popular than you, and you commented, you said when. I'm like, yeah, when. Just kind of makes sense. And so of course we know we got some big things going on in my little tiny insignificant world, but hopefully things work out the way they do, and we'll let you guys know. I'm very excited. I'm keeping little secrets, but again, that's still the way you do it. I'm just talking to existence, and we'll see.
All right. Well, yeah. Are you familiar with The Secret, by the way?
I am. I liked your reluctance too when you were like, I don't want to admit it was The Secret, but I'm kind of gonna. You were like,
yeah. I guess it is. But it was funny because I'm like,
yeah,
no,
it was like visualization,
really
right?
is.
And basically like manifesting things on your own.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, because in a way that when I was talking about my process before I go into something like this, or when I come in the show, I turn the radio off. Well, I'll listen to it for a little bit, then I turn it off, start breathing, and then on the way in, because it's like a minimum 30, 40-minute drive every single day, I start singing the song. Welcome to the way, and it's not because I think it's catchy. It's because it's getting me moving forward for today's show.
Yes.
So I start thinking about that. And I start thinking about the events, what's happening around town, what's going on with the weather today, what's going on with the Rays, with the Lightning, with Chris, with my personal life, and then hopefully by the time I get here, I've come up with that little thing that never rhymes.
But that's also spontaneity of it. I mean, even with me, I remember saying that things are going to change for me once I got officially divorced. I kept saying it when this happens. I remember even telling, it was months ago, I saw me changing my phone number, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to change my number, which I did. And once you close one door, another one opens. So I essentially closed like 500 something doors to leave it open for even more. And since I've done that, I've gotten, we'll talk more about that later. Here's more things are just coming. Right. It's like it's like spring cleaning. So different different man.
Man, we're getting off on philosophy again, and some we're basically getting off into the category of high talk again for a lot of people, not for you and I. Right. We see this, and I know there's a lot of people out there, I guess, more in the new agey category that this is right down the middle for you guys as well. But okay, the secret to the secret. There is something to it, even if it's not some mystical thing. Just visualizing the thing that you want to do over and over again in the right place will help. I don't know if the laws of attraction. If
I was just about to say that.
I don't know if it's all that. Now I feel like there's something to it personally. I'm not going to try to pitch it to you. I feel like there's something to it personally, but I'm not going to try to pitch it to you. But even that put aside, there's still power to it, a psychological power to it.
I believe. I was listening to YouTube. If you look up Abraham Hicks,
I know he's one of those. She?
Yeah. So what it is there's a woman. Her name was what's her name? So forget the name, just X. She's a very simple lady. Just she worked on a farm, lived on a farm. Just didn't think a lot about always moving. And her husband at one point was like, what are you thinking about? She's like, nothing. It's like, how do you not think of anything? I always feel like I'm always thinking that. Yeah.
Oh, she's the laws of attraction.
So she started getting heavy into meditation, right? So at one moment, she's meditating, and then she joins with a force that is no longer living. And the force just calls himself Abraham Hicks. So for years, this woman's been going out and talking and letting herself get possessed, if you would. And this entity starts talking about the laws of attraction, and I have been listening for years. It just feels like it makes sense. And so the premise that that she keeps going back and repeating is the laws of attraction. The idea is that we all have like this vortex, right? That is like all the happiness, the good stuff that you want in life. And when you are centered and happy, the time when you're feeling great and you're catching every light and you show up and then the car pulls out, thanks for the parking spot, like just happy. That's the time when you are really in alignment with who you truly are, like your spirit. Like, look at kids, they're just happy like kids. And that's the time when you're actually creating, right? So it's like you're shooting these rockets off into this vortex, this God, this energy, whatever you want to call it. Right,
the universal soul.
Whatever you want to call it. And she says all that same thing. It's just interchangeable.
Right.
And that's when you're creating your life. So I remember opening, just as an example for me, worked for me. I went to the mail and I got a check in the mail from, Hard Rock, and it was a pretty nice sized check. And I remember feeling so good. And I said, you know what? Thank you. This is what I would like to have more in my life. Just receiving checks in the mail. It made me happy. Great. And then here we go. I just write this song with Chase Rice. So we were talking, and so just try it, everyone. When you're not in alignment, when you're upset, what's also happening is subsequently you're shooting these rockets of desire of what you want. So let's say you're in a relationship that you don't really like, someone, you bought breakfast and you went to go pick it up, right? And then you bring it home and then they're like, oh, and then they make a plate for themselves before making a plate for you. What happens right now? You're like, I wish I had someone who would probably just think about me, the fact that I bought the breakfast. Wouldn't it be nice if they made the plate for both of us? Now what just happens, you're just creating another person for you. And eventually that match comes. I'm just saying, we could go with another example of someone just not appreciating you, right? We've all had that. We've all experienced people who don't appreciate you. It's in your mind, maybe it's your subconscious, it's somewhere up there. You're creating something more that you want, like your ex, right, Chris? And now you're with Lauren. There are things that your ex was doing that you didn't like, and now you created your new wife, right? And so it's the same thing. Like you're constantly building and making your life and shaping it the way you want to. So if it's positive, okay, negative, you're still finding a way to shape your life to what you want. Did I lose you? No,
I understand what you're saying. It's that manifestation, but you're also finding the pieces that fit you. And once you find the pieces that fit, sometimes it exposes like, well, this doesn't fit.
And that doesn't fit. So what thank you. So I'll make this will fit. Exactly.
Yeah. Adam writes, quote, I'd like to receive more checks in the mail, unquote. Everyone on planet Earth.
That's funny.
See, I guess for me, when I'm trying to visualize that stuff, since we're on this subject of whatever that is, whatever this is, I think one of the things that I've come across along the way, I don't want to use terms like discovered and stuff saw, I think I've experienced along the way, is more visualizing like this past happiness at the end of my life, or toward, in my 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s. And am sitting there and being happy and looking back on my life and all the things, not that I've accomplished or the ways that I got there, but just all the things that brought me joy along the way, whether they're family-oriented stuff or accomplishments, climbing a mountain kind of stuff, seeing the world, and then breathing and trusting that I'll get there, that that it will, those laws of attraction and Mm-hmm. So. Because I think sometimes we get too focused on the next step. Like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make this happen right now, or 5 minutes from now, or 5 days from now, 5 months from now. Where if there is anything to this secret, then to me, you should be able to get all the way out there towards the end of your life. Picture this calm, happiness, peace, and then go, this is what I want, and then trust whatever it is you think you believe in, God, the universe, to get you there.
I think,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're saying the same thing. It's a little different. And I was going to say, you said, in 5 months. Well, what if 5 months really is just now? What if 5 months is 5 minutes away? Like right now, we're looking at the way we judge time. But what if time doesn't exist out there? Like what if 20 years on this plane is nothing but 2 minutes on the other plane? Yeah. What if?
Oh yeah, no,
exactly. So it's like, yeah. So I mean, I met John on 2015 on Independence Day. But it was 2018 that I opened up for Chase. So, but when it happened, 3 years passed by like that. I mean, it just really it doesn't feel like it took that long.
Right. It's not even a time thing.
Right.
It's when it's right. Yeah. And then when you start to think of things as when it's right, time is irrelevant.
Thank you. Right. Absolutely. It's very true. So, I mean, I'll just say this. I stuck myself out there in the new age weird hippie place, but
it's all love, man.
Just wait. Well, we'll just wait and see what happens in my life. Like everyone's seeing, I'm showing every step of the way. I'm letting everyone know every step of the way. Hey man, this just happened. Hey man, this just happened. Hey man, this just happened. I'm letting you.
That's
guys
why it's
know.
curious to me, Chris, because from the way I see things, the more you say it out loud, the more you go, this, I'm going to make this happen, or this is going to happen, the more it's not going to happen from the way that I experience the universe. So this is a fascinating test because you and I see some things very similarly. We see things differently. But you're going, all right, I've seen this. This is happening. Watch.
Yes, and the thing is, the word that you must be careful of saying is want. I didn't say I want to have checks in the mail. This is what I'd like to have happening in my life, checks coming in the mail. Because I believe if you say I want it, then that's what you're going to be experiencing, the wanting of that. So it may not come to you. I may not come. If you say I am and this is what I'd like, and yes, and thank you for bringing it to me, thank you for coming. You're saying it's like when someone brings you food, you're like, thank you, you're appreciating, thank you, because you know you got it. Well, I'm just saying, if I just stop and go thank you in advance and just sit in the knowing that I got it and not play the doubt game just because I've seen it happen so many times, it's just being very clear with what it is that I desire, not want, desire. You feel me?
All right. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You feel me?
All right.
I got you.
My dog.
All right. So let's hit a couple of other things that I have today. One is, we'll keep it on the sports tip here.
Oh, that's right. We I had to look it up, man. I had to look. So you said it's Doc Ellis.
Doc Ellis, thank you.
Dropped acid and threw a no-hitter.
Yeah, he was basically like not scheduled to pitch as far as I know, and he was like, it's my off day. Let's get a little loosey-goosey. And then I think the starting pitcher got injured, and they're like, Doc, you're in. I am in.
Oh, God.
In 1970, Scipio Spinks and Doc Ellis were young major league pitchers. Spinks for the Astros and Doc for the Pirates, who had taken the era's free and love, free drugs ethos to heart. We were the two young guys everybody said wouldn't live to see the 30. All right. A documentary film about who gained notoriety for pitching a no-hitter and influence on LSD. I pitched every game in the major leagues under the influence of drugs, he said, of his 12-year baseball career.
Holy crap.
He died in 2008. Listen, we did everything, tried everything, partied all the time. We would try to see who could out. Oh my gosh. Yeah, anyway, but think about it. This man said it like the football players, maybe there's some truth there, man.
Maybe.
I'm wondering how much of that's attached to nerves and having to do your art in front of, 20, 30,000 people. And you just need something to curb the edge. And plus in football, you're worrying about getting hit.
Yeah, I've heard people who do, what is it, the concentration style, I'm just blanking on it.
Concentration.
Meditation?
Something gets them all crazy. Kids do it to study back in the day.
Adderall.
I've heard people doing that to get that edge, to get that focus. I mean, like, that's still a drug. Like,
all right, going back to we won't throw any say any names.
No names ever.
I don't know that it's the problem today that it was just 5 years ago, but there. I'm going to say every base because it's not true, but there was a significant. According to the people I knew that played baseball, a significant portion of people who were on Adderall, and most of them were pitchers, that were taking Adderall. A lot of them were also taking painkillers at the time too, but I don't know if that has to do with the lingering pain themselves. But yeah, a lot of these guys were taking Adderall. Well, think about it. When you're watching a baseball game, they're constantly spitting, chewing on something, and it grabbing their, adjusting because you're right. That's an anxiety. It's an anxiety. It's we've got this thing we got to do. So you're chewing something. A lot of times that was that was nicotine, so that calms the nerves. Going way back. Wow. So the alcohol. You're right. I can see a pitcher having a drink or two, and that calms the nerves and gets out there and goes. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
With the precision attached to it, because it's not like a. Think about music. Like if you miss a note, you're gonna miss a note.
Yeah,
that happens every night. I grew up playing music, still do, and you're gonna miss notes. But in baseball, it's one pitch, and each one of those starts to add up very quickly. You can miss a couple of notes in a song; it's gonna still sound great. You start missing baseball pitches, and it's like your career can be over.
Yeah, that's true. They'll pull you.
Well, I know that when I started playing golf in my basically late 20s, going into my 30s, and I got obsessed, so I got my handicap down to almost single digits. I was at a 10.3 or something like that, and but I could overthink it. I could be having a crappy round and just look like I've never played golf before, and then grab a double Jack and Diet Tall, suck that bad boy down. It's like all of a sudden I'm throwing darts. Par, birdie, par. And it has something to do with, there's that fine line though, because, you have two of them or three of them and then you're spraying.
Yeah, man.
That bell curve, it's not even a bell curve. It gets to here and then it's straight down.
It's so true, man. It's so true.
I remember the very first time that happened to me playing Cypress Head Golf Course in Daytona Beach in the late 90s. And when I first started playing golf, I was taking it so seriously that I would not drink, period. So we have the front nine just sucks. Not even looking forward to the back nine. And we stop into the clubhouse. The guy goes, "Man, have you tried some drinks?" I'm like, No. I don't drink on the golf course. Just try it. You already have a shitty game. I mean, what really do you have to lose? My drink of choice at the time, double Jack and Diet Talls. That was my choice of drink for a decade or two. So two of them. Boom, the first one's gone before we even get to the 10th tee. And there you go, par, and have a great round.
Wow.
In the back. In a tournament, the same thing happened in a tournament. You say or tour? Tournament.
Tournament.
It happened in a tournament. And again, this was not like professional anything.
A tournament.
A tournament. A tournament. Same thing happens. This time it's at Landsbrook. This time it's at Landsbrook Country Club, and it's one of those. It was the Keller Williams Golf Tournament or Golf League or something like that in Southwest Florida in the early 2000s. Oh yeah, taking everybody back now, and again playing like crap. I run into somebody that I know at the golf course who's a ranger there. He asked me how my round's doing. It's not doing good. He said okay. He drives off like within a hole. The beer cart person comes by, and so I said person. And she had two double Jack and Diet Talls right there. She goes, "Are you Chris?" "Yes." "These are from Chuck." I was like, "Oh, well, tell Chuck thank you." Sure enough, and that one I do remember. I rattled off 6 pars in a row after that.
Jeez.
Now it sounds like I'm making a case for getting hammered.
That's how they get you with golf, though. In some ways, I remember like even growing up playing. You have like 8 bad holes, and then the last 4 are great, and you're like, "Oh, I'm coming back in a couple of days because I want to play golf, and I want that great feeling of watching the ball go up in the sky and come down, and you're out in nature. It's a great time, and
I love it.
But it can be just as unforgiving.
I hated it as a kid because I was from the other side of the track. So for me, golf I associated with those old, fat, overprivileged, cigar smoking, gaudy dressing white guys. And so I did not like golfing growing up. And it was all of a sudden one day, again, Daytona Beach, I was depressed. My friends were going out golfing. I said, "Oh, what the hell? Let me go." And that first ball, man, right off the first one was right down the center of the fairway. Angels were singing. "Ah!" And then that was it. I was hooked.
You still go?
I have not, man. I would love to play. You see I'm wearing a shirt today from this is an old tournament here in the Bay Area. BJ Upton, back when he played for the Rays before he went to the Atlanta Braves, a couple of years, put on a tournament himself. I can't afford it, man.
It's the most expensive hobby you could imagine, other than like kite surfing or
right. We just bought a house. I just got married last year. We bought a house in October, November, and golf is just Just not in my near future. And now it's summertime too, so there's no reason to go.
Oh, it's by 10 o'clock. You're in trouble here now.
Oh, it's gross. I used to love it, man. When I was younger, in a little better shape, nobody be in the golf course, and I'd walk it, sweating, playing golf, playing a 2-ball scramble with myself. Playing a 2-ball scramble with myself. The title of today's show. Because I didn't give you the details on the David Wells thing before we move on to Evan Longoria. But 18 years ago today, David Wells took the mound for the New York Yankees and retired all 27 Minnesota Twins hitters he faced. It was the 15th perfect game in MLB history, and on Beanie Baby Day.
I remember Beanie Babies.
Oh yeah. Wells also threw this perfect game while drunk, which allows for the argument to be made that this is the greatest game ever pitched. Statistically speaking, it's obviously not. Wells struck out 11 Twins, while Sandy Koufax and Matt Cain are tied for the record with 14 strikeouts in a perfect game. You could also say that a 20 strikeout game is more impressive than a perfect game, and Wells' perfect game didn't come. Who cares? The guy was still drunk. Let's see. The Wells described his condition in the 2003 autobiography, Perfect I'm Not. Thank you for writing that, by the way, David Wells.
Awesome.
Thank you for writing that book. I wish more people would write that book, especially, because, I wish more people like your Peyton Mannings and your Tony Dungys, the ones that are really put up there on pedestals. I had an idea once, and I want to run this by you because there's a good friend of mine who has all the connections in sports that you could ever need, and I wanted him to help me with a project. I wanted to put together a book of stories by Tim Tebow, Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy, all of those that are put on pedestals as almost being perfect, Tom Brady and da-da-da, where they're telling the story that they don't want to tell about themselves. Telling a story of a moment they wish they could have back, where maybe they felt their actions, their decisions in that moment
were questionable.
Yeah, and he goes, no. No, I would never ask anybody to write something like that. After having a very short discussion about it, I realized that there's almost a certain protection, like it's important for some of our heroes to come off as perfect because it gives us something to strive for. And I don't see it that way. I think that, like when you and I were talking about how Kate Middleton, if she would have come out, 7 hours after that birth and looked like a real person, how that would have been much more powerful and I think culture changing.
Relatable.
Than getting her all dolled up and bringing her out there and making her look perfect again.
I think the person who said that, maybe, I read this in the 4 Agreements about how that mask of perfection we have, we don't want anyone to see us look, in the public eye because we're just not used to that. We and it's kind of like my show last night, perfect example. So I'm playing last night, and it's going well. Everyone's having a good time. And then this group shows up from North Dakota, group of girls. They're drunk. And, they're really just coming at, and it's like, yo, can y'all slow down? A lot of equipment. They're just coming, And one of them asked for a country song. I'm like, I'll play a country song, right? But I got to play this. So I finished playing this one song. And now the bridesmaid, who is it? One who's about to get married. She is stumbling, right? This girl wants to come and ask me, and I stop her. Whoa, girlie.
This is the bride?
This is the bride to be. So I'm like, yo, hold up. Now, her friend didn't like the fact that I stopped her. Like, dude, you're about to fall over. So the friend chipes in. She just wanted to ask you to play a country song. I'm going to play a country song. Okay. So then she goes, well, it's probably not even a real country song. So, what do you think I do?
Punched her?
No.
Oh.
I called her out. Like, yo, and so on the mic, you can't come and ask me to do you a favor and then be rude to me.
Right, and insult you.
And
do this, but I'm sure even if you do, it won't be good enough, you piece of shit.
Right, exactly. So here it is. I have the microphone, and now everyone stops, and they're looking at you, and you, no. Your ego just got bruised. That's why you're all freaking out right now. I'm like, and that's what I mean. The mask. We don't want anyone to see. It's like you'll mutter under your breath and see, people gotta lose that stuff.
The friend that I'm talking about, I think he also took it the wrong way because his reaction and what he said was like I was trying to purposefully tear these people down.
Right. You're not doing
and I was
that.
like, no,
You're
I
trying to
wasn't
get a
trying to tear anybody down.
connection.
Right. I was trying to, for all those people that look up to your Tim Tebow's and those guys, to know that there are these moments that maybe
You're a
every now and
human being.
then,
Yeah.
that pops in your head, and you get nauseous thinking about, man, why did I act like that? Why did I make that decision in that moment? Or whatever. Even if it goes back to your teen years, when you're not adult enough to know the ramifications of your decisions, But we'll see. I guess.
And to go one step further, I remember after that happened, I remember thinking, I am over this. And Rockets of Desire, I was like, I'm having a good time, but that element of just coming right on the stage and blah, blah, blah. And I even said, hey, my name is Chris McCartney. I speak English and I understand it pretty well. I don't understand what everyone's doing. I don't understand that. And so we'll see what happens in my career. We'll see where I end up going. Just remember me saying that, because I Rocket of Desire, like, I want to be performing in places where I can do my job, my gift, and not have it be this up close and personal thing where I'm worried you're drunk. Are you going to step? Because I've had drunk people fall on me, fall on my equipment.
Yep.
I've seen it's like, dude, it's not cool. Step on your stuff. Dude, this is very, I don't play with just inexpensive things.
No,
Like the best
it's
stuff.
very personal.
The best of the best.
And
It's
people,
my thing.
and people when they're drunk and and it happened again last night, Chris, when people are drunk and stumbling into your shit.
They think the world's about them.
Right. It's all about, because hold on a second. They're like, no, I'm not going to spill anything.
Yeah,
Goes all over
exactly.
the,
It's like,
and the way that my booth is set up, it looks like a solid structure, but it's just I don't know what they call those things, but it's basically just a
like
thing that
this.
sits on the
Like, just sits there.
yeah, it just sits on the table, so people come up, boom, and then tumble right into my shit all the time.
Exactly.
So I'll do that, like you said, I'll have my hand up. They're like, no, I'm good. I'm like, please don't hold your effing.
Right.
Sir, just please, could you not hold your drink over all my $10,000 worth of shit? I know you're okay. I mean, I've seen you do 10 shots tonight. I'm sure you're not going to
Okay.
drop anything.
Right.
Tallahassee. Ooh, this goes way back. Tallahassee. Doing a gig at Fat Tuesdays, and it's packed. Everybody's there. Golden Girls are there. The FSU cheerleaders. There's football players there. Bam. And somebody, I did not mean to do this, or did I? This one of the Golden Girls, I can't remember which one, Golden Girl or a cheerleader, fell into my stuff. All my DJ.
When you said Golden Girl, I'm thinking like Blanche.
That's what they're called,
Dorothy.
right? Or they're called,
But I realized you're talking about the
yeah. I was waiting for you to be like, I was like, B.
was like,
Arthur was at
I was like,
Florida
Blanche?
State?
I was like, what
When
are they
was
doing?
B. Arthur there? No, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, it's like the dancers.
Golden
Yeah, I forget. I think whatever.
Golden Girl sounds right.
Because they're garnet and gold. Yes.
Yeah, they're probably
Yeah.
Golden Girls, but go ahead.
So anyway, maybe not. Maybe I'm getting confused with B. Arthur. Anyway, so as she falls, I just go like this. So I think I'm just kind of going like that. But she was really light. She was really light. I bounced her right off the wall that was sitting right next to her. I just bounced her right off the wall and felt. And then in that moment, I'm like, oh shit, somebody's about to hit me.
Right.
So then I have to kind of give that look of, who's next? Just in case, because I didn't want, because I felt like when I did that, I wanted to go, oh my gosh, are you okay? Right. But then I felt like that might lead to some other drama. Right. So I had to do the whoo, and then go.
Well, how old were you then?
Like 22.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're fumbling through the beginnings of trying to get all that stuff established, and you even said it yourself, it wasn't on purpose.
No,
Right.
well,
And these people don't understand, like you
get
were
it.
saying, we alluded to this earlier, we're spending all day thinking about this stuff. And when someone shows up and they've been there 10 minutes,
Right.
they don't understand the preparation of what's gone into the last, 24 to 48 hours.
Right. Like, I could have gone in on that lady and been like, dude, you guys just got here and everyone here is enjoying themselves and it's been great. Now, I understand that you're from North Dakota and you think the world's about you, millennial. It's not about you. It's really not. And no one really came here to hear you go, woo! They came to listen to music, have a good time. So stop making everything about you. I didn't do all that. I could have wanted to, but just maybe I should have. I don't know.
No, it is.
Man, holstering, it's usually the right move.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing that see now you know what, now we are, Chris, we're all three of us, we're vendors. We're local, like entertainment vendors, complaining about all of our customers and all.
No, I'm not.
No, I think it's actually kind of cool for us, a bonding moment, because like we all know the same kind of thing, which is why we like attracts like, we're all kind of hit. So it's nice to have someone else that can
relate.
respect,
Yeah, but
relate,
people
be
even
like,
that
okay,
are
cool.
that are listening right now for their jobs And if heck, if
Right.
you're in like a call center and people call up and my internet's not working, it's like you don't understand. Like I'm not the one who's providing your internet. I'm the facilitator. I have a whole other career of this. You're just coming in with your anger and bringing it right in, or bringing whatever you're going to bring to this point of our conversation. That's anyone who has a career is a professional, is a performer at some point throughout their day of I have to put on this nice face, and you're bringing in this into my area.
Yeah. I mean, that girl went to some fans of mine that have been supportive of me since I moved here. She started going to them and complaining. They're like, dude, I don't want to. I didn't say it. He said it. Take it up with him. And I'll just a tidbit of information, I'm gonna help you guys out real quickly. This really helps me out when I'm dealing with. You got a complaint, you got to call someone. 9 out of 10 times, if you say, hey, listen, I realize this has nothing to do with you. So if I get fired up, just know I am not coming at you at all.
I've done that
you
before.
are here to help me, and I really appreciate it. You will see them switch because people don't do it, and they're not used to it. So you'll find the appreciation off rip. Watch how helpful they'll be for you.
I've done that before. My wife did it just like last week or the week before. And one of the times that I did, it was like, this is I want you to know that you're now the 5th person I've talked to, okay? I might get a little worked up here. It's not going to be pointed towards you, but I am very frustrated right now.
Yeah, and they love that, don't they? They're like, okay, cool. The energy changes. But anyways, go ahead.
No, all right. So let's get on to what's next, and that is, I don't know if you're following the Rays, if you just stick to the Bolts, really, Steven, or if you follow the Rays. Now, Evan Longoria recently said that, here we go, that a new Rays stadium is probably not going to work. Moving the team to Ybor is probably not going to work. Now, Evan Longoria no longer with the Rays. He was our stud for many years, our golden boy, and Longoria now plays for the San Francisco Giants. He told the Tampa Bay Times, Mark Topkin, he suspected a relocation from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg to a possible site in Ybor could still be problematic if the team's long-standing history of attendance woes continues. And for years, we've been having this talk on what's going to change that. And one of the thoughts is it's in the wrong place in St. Petersburg. If you bring it into the metropolitan area of Tampa and put it in the right place, that you could pack the place. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Look at the Bucks when they're winning.
Why don't they just do it in the Bucks Stadium? Didn't they do that in L.A.? I mean, sometimes you see
but
a
the
football
stadium
game.
was convertible. Raymond James is.
That's probably
fixed.
the reason why.
Yeah.
Because they would have done it already.
And the thing is I don't know. I don't know I think
where else would it go?
Might be right. No, to Charlotte, to Nashville,
gotcha.
to another city.
Gotcha.
We have a lot going on around here, and another thing that I think plays into. We get called fair weather fans a lot, here in the Bay Area. We only support our teams when they're winning. There's some truth to that.
All right.
But there's also some irony to that statement, fair weather. Because fair weather fans means that, as long as the weather is fair for the team is doing well, then you're a fan. But I also think that's one of the reasons why our passion, our fanaticism can only go so far is because we have fair weather. Is because in the winter, when everybody up north is trapped inside, you only have a couple things you can do. Watch all your sports teams, argue with your wife, drink too much.
Have sex.
And make up with your wife.
Yeah. Start an argument. Like, I haven't had sex in a while. I know. Lay down like what you're doing.
So that's, and I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But I do think the great weather here in Florida does have something to do with it, because you're competing with that. There are those days when you're looking outside, or you walked outside and it's late in the football season, and you might normally spend all day long inside watching football. Or if you're in Detroit, if you're in Pittsburgh, if you're in Philadelphia. But down here, you're sitting there going, oh man, I really want to watch these games today. But look at all the manatee and the dolphins and the shells washing up on onto the beach. I can go out and spend the day outside. So I'll take my little radio with me and do both here in the Bay Area.
It'd be cool if they were able to pull it off in Ybor. And it's all things are like, if it's the right stadium. Like, think of what they're doing in Miami now with that really cool retractable roof and the glass out there. And you can have a view out over the bay. The question becomes cost, of course. But I just don't know where we're going to put it. Every time I see a spot, it's cool. I would like that area. Like, even St. Pete.
I'd love to see it work, yeah.
That part in St. Pete, like right there, you're walking distance from a bunch of great restaurants. It's just the
true.
stadium's old. What are you going? The stadium's from 1985.
By the way, I don't hate the stadium. When I go there and watch a game in the summer, and I'm sitting there and I'm not sweating.
Yeah.
I'm not sweating, and then I can feel the air conditioner washing over me. Like, this is great. But talking to guys over the years that have played there, they say it doesn't feel like playing baseball. It says it doesn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could understand that. And then you go by like the minor league stadiums. I live pretty close to Spectrum, and you can see
That's
it
a
out there.
great stadium.
It's a great
Great.
stadium. The
I
only
just
problem
finished
is, of
playing.
course, is the rain. And when it's July and you're dealing with those dog days of summer, and you can like smell skin cooking, that's where you want that retractable roof and things like that. I just hope it works out well for them, because there is a novelty to the Rays in some way.
I do too. I'm rooting for them. I would
course.
love to see them stay here, and I'd love to see them be successful as well. But man, we've got a lot of stuff going on in the Bay Area with professional sports teams, with competitive college sports teams, not to mention amateur sports. People love their high school football and basketball around here too. So it's just a lot of competition. Good luck to the Rays on that.
Yep.
And the last one I had pulled up is it's a little on the political side of things, but I did it more because it has to do with John Morgan, who I think I want to get John Morgan on the show one day. He seems like a very fascinating character to me. Elliot, by the way, before I get to this, Elliot says, Ybor was a good idea because I enjoy wondering if I'm going to get stabbed in the throat when I leave the station.
That's part of its charm, though, in a lot of ways.
And but I have respect for that. Ybor City, they're still about using fists and knives, Gives you a chance. All right, John Morgan calls Rick Scott a bald-headed ever-ready bunny and says that Corcoran made the right call not to run. So here we go. Now, I'm kind of bummed that he pulled out of the race. I was looking forward to John Morgan running. I don't know if he has a chance or probably not. That's why he pulled out. Orlando attorney John Morgan said Wednesday he has no regrets in his decision to stay out of the 2018 governor's race and thinks that his friend Richard Corcoran made the right move to drop out as well. To run for governor, you've got to be done making money, and I'm not done making money. All right. Morgan told reporters Wednesday before the 3-hour trial in Leon County Circuit Court in his lawsuit against the state for banning smoking as a delivery form for medical marijuana. To run for governor, you have to be a professional politician, and I'm not a professional politician. I've never known any governor who has done anything for us, ever. Anything for any of us, ever. With characteristic blunder, Morgan said that he told Democratic candidate for governor Philip Levine, the former Miami Beach mayor, that he's lucky I'm not running for governor because I'd win in a landslide. Then he goes on to talk about the current governor, a bald-headed, ever-ready bunny who's getting ready to run for the Senate. But speaking of medical marijuana, I'm still waiting, Chris. This Doc MJ thing is taking...
What are you waiting on exactly? The appointment, the initial appointment? Because you did that already.
Yeah, made the initial appointment. Didn't realize that I was supposed to bring, all
kinds of documents and stuff.
It's my fault.
Because I told you.
Yeah, and I know. It's my fault. I gave the dude the cliff notes of what he needed to do, and he didn't do it. Well, the other day, Mother's Day, Chris, Mother's Day, my wife sends me a picture via text, right? Via text. There it is. We're meeting at the Yummy House for some food for lunch with her mom. Mm-hmm. She circles the address on it because there's multiple Yummy Houses. Mm-hmm. I said, "Thank you, honey," and I went to the wrong Yummy House. Because when she sent it to me, even though she circled the address, I looked at the hours of operation and saw that they closed at the time we said we were getting there. And so that's what registered to me. And I sent it back. And she goes, no, they're staying open, da-da-da-da. And then it didn't even dawn on me. I just didn't see it. It didn't register.
You know what, dude? There's something so significant about that. That's just a Chris-ism. That's something that sometimes you do. You may overthink something. And knowing that about you, because I've done the same kind of thing. So that's why I kind of smiled like, oh, cool. I'm not the only one. So that's part of as Lord at some point be like, that's my guy. He gonna do it sometime. I'm a circle because she circled it for a reason because she knows how you are. Right. It's just, but that's just part of you. If you love, I love you, dude, and I get it. I'm not saying clearly I know she loves you too. I'm saying it's when you love someone, it's just part of you. Just accept that's just how they are. No,
she does not accept that. It frustrates her too often.
But that acceptance is don't you know that acceptance is the only way about true love? So it's part of it. Might be part of her little thing. That's why you keep doing it, like you guys together. Because once she accepts it and knows it, and it just stops bothering her, watch it stop happening. Think about that.
The only like saving grace when it comes to my memory and my lack of attention to detail is that one of my brothers, who is extremely successful and an engineer, is just as bad, if not worse, when it comes to that kind of stuff. Yet in other categories, an absolute genius and is making a lot of money.
See, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like it offsets, like that. You are a genius. I see your genius. I get it. You know, and geniuses tend to do that. Perfect example. So yesterday, I'm setting up, and one of the managers comes to me and goes, "Hey, did you order food here last week?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I went, "Oh man, did I forget to pay? Like I know how I am." And he's like, "Yeah." And I, ran in there, I paid, gave the girl like a $10 tip. I'm so sorry. And I said, sometimes I just do that. I'm always moving. I go. What happened last night? I just left without getting paid. Because sometimes
I've done that before.
I'm
too.
out. Like,
yeah.
but and I understand myself. It's okay. No big deal. That's just part of my makeup. And now that I've accepted it and I'm okay with it, I don't beat myself up when I do it.
So it is because you might, for those of you that don't suffer for whatever this is, you make, wait a second. So you could walk out of a place, you're there to work.
Yeah.
To get paid,
yes,
and then you go there, you work, and you walk out without a check.
Yes, and I think
multiple, more than 10 times I've done that.
I'm not run by money. One,
same here.
I do it because I love it. First and foremost. So I'm not. At one point I had a $20 bill fly out, and the lady was running to get it. Hey, it's cool. I'm cool, guys. I'm not doing this for the money, man. I'm doing it because the feeling and everyone feels good. So. Now if the check was $5,000,
then I'm doing
I might not forget it, But I mean, at the end, it's just, what do you run by? So I just feel like, to me, I accept who I am. I know that that's something that I do. Something like, if you come to my house, cabin doors might just be open. It's just what it is. I don't know what to tell you. Like, just the trail of my friends, the trail of Chris. You just, he's been here, and they smile and laugh now because it's just me. So yeah,
we were going to play a song, or you were going to do a song yesterday.
I got up right on time to grab my guitar. Come on, man. I'm feeling it. See?
You need me to move off the couch?
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, look at that, my friend. That's awesome, Chris. Look at that. We are in sync, brother.
Hockey's expensive, too.
He's on the line, yeah.
Yeah. Check that one out, drunk guy. Let's see. Right. Who wants to be inside on a Saturday when there's beach on either side of us? That's another thing, too. Think about how many people are trapped into that, where they get into their weekends. We have to have our 12-pack on Friday night, sit in front of the television and watch college football all day on Saturday, sit in front of the television, watch the NFL all day Sunday, and donate just enough time to the wife and kids to satiate whatever their needs are. But we need to tune out for 2.5 days before we get back at it on Monday. All right. Let's see. Anything else? Steven, thank you so much for coming back in today.
Thank you guys for having me again. This was a blast, as always.
Oh, so what are you doing tonight? Oh, are you going to go to Ybor tonight? Speaking of
It's Curtis 6 in the night. I think I'm going to try to get out there for a hot minute. Yeah.
You're right.
Do what you did last time, bro.
Yeah. On the couch.
Seeing all seeing all the footage coming out of Ybor 2 days ago was pretty impressive. They'd set up 3 televisions, I want to say, 3 huge jumbotrons down there.
Really cool.
So what are you going to do then? You said you're going to...
I might stay on the couch for superstition's sake. I want to go to Curtis 6 in Park, but superstition, that's why the shirt's here.
Yeah.
We're trying to do everything the same way we did it and not tinker with anything.
But you should have been wearing it.
Yeah, why aren't you wearing it? Because it's your fault now. You're the one.
You were supposed to wear it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's all right. We'll be all right. Some superstitions we're going to let pass. Only one
you don't make the rules of superstition. Let's get a physicist on to break down the laws of superstition.
That'd be fantastic.
Did Einstein ever crack that nut?
He just points at us and yells, "Shame, shame!"
You silly people. All right, Chris. For those of you that are... Well, come by anyway. You're going to watch the game in your periphery a little bit. We'll have the game on at Masteries tonight, doing trivia starting at 7 o'clock, 7 to 8:30. Masteries, Blind Pass, St. Pete Beach. What song? There was a specific song yesterday you said you wanted to do.
We were talking, what were we talking about? The song's called Blown Away. I'm just, it's about getting tripped up initially about life. You just kind of, you think everything's great, but that's kind of a problem sometimes, and about delusions and so yeah, we were saying you got one life to live, man. You gotta grab it. Oh, that's what it was. I was talking about the line of having your back against the wall. The idea is if you want something to succeed, right? Like let's say you're gonna storm the island, right? And you want to take over the island. The best way to do it is burn your boats. So either we're gonna die or we're gonna do this and make it happen. So here's my song, Blown Away. Good morning, sweetheart. As she wakes me up to start my day. Today's reality is she's calling for me. But anyway, we talk dirty real quick, laugh a bit on my mind. If this can be my whole day, wait, see. Delusions of grandeur make you lose what you're planning for. Make it get you gotta live for the day. Cause the sun goes up, sun goes down. What are you gonna do that day when the world starts spinning all around? Maybe we can figure it out somehow. For we all get blown away. Things can change with no reason or rhyme between them. See, nobody walks a straight line for very long. It's not if, it's when that you fall. So many people, so many times, so little makes much sense to me. People think I'm lucky. There's a difference between luck and having your back against the wall. See me, I'm risking it all, yeah. Cause the sun goes up, sun goes down. What are you gonna do that day when the world starts spinning all around? Maybe we can figure it out somehow. For we all get blown away. For we all get blown away. And maybe we can figure it all out. All get blown away. Maybe we can figure it all out. See, we each all have decisions to make. Are you gonna take control of your life or just wait? Are you gonna take a chance? Are you gonna play it safe? Whichever you choose, just don't hesitate, because sun goes up, sun goes down. What are you gonna do that day when the world starts spinning all around? Maybe we can figure it out somehow. Oh, we all get blown away. Oh, we all get blown away. Maybe we can figure it all out. All get blown away. Maybe we can figure it all out. As the sun goes up, sun goes down. What are you gonna do that day when the world starts spinning all around? Maybe we can figure it out somehow. Oh, we all get blown away. For we all get blown away.
Right on.
Attaboy.
Chris McCarty. ChrisMcCarty.com.
Word. Facebook.
Where's the Chris McCarty music?
ChrisMcCarty.com and then Facebook.com/Chris McCarty Music. Like the page.
All right, you got a gig tonight?
No, I'm off tonight.
Good for you, man. Oh, I know.
I'm off tonight. That's great. So yeah, I'm off tonight. Yeah, Armature works on Saturday, but we'll talk about that tomorrow.
All right.
I might actually kick it with you and watch the game, homie. If you're gonna go down, let's do that.
When, Saturday or tonight?
Tonight.
I'll be letting you know, man.
Well, yeah, he said
guy.
he said he might just stay on the couch.
Might be on the couch.
We'll kick it.
Oh, you're thinking about going down to Curtis Hickson?
I was.
If you do,
dude, I'm never
record
off,
some
so
stuff.
shoot.
If you do videotape some stuff,
Okay.
you go down there.
Then let's do it. It's for work purposes.
Yeah,
I like it.
Have some conversations. That man on the street kind of thing, and see. Because I imagine that's going to be nuts tonight too. So go Bolts, good luck. And for those of you that won't be heading out there, I'll see you on St. Pete Beach. Mastery's Blind Pass for trivia starting at 7 o'clock. Have a great day. Be safe. Thank you so much for the likes and shares and the comments and the interaction. Be kind to yourself. Be good to your fellow man. And most importantly, let your crazy breathe. Just a little bit.